All right, we're gonna move on to some possible trade deadline moves? Question mark. So we have these three that we'll talk about tonight: Crochet, Robert, obviously both from the White Sox, because, well, the Red Sox did snap the White Sox losing streak this past week. So congratulations to the Red Sox.
I
The
I
White
can't remember a
Sox.
time.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember a time when splitting a 4-game series felt like such a bad loss.
Bad.
I mean, really.
And then we'll also talk about Alonso. So let's start with Crochet. And where do you guys think? Because I think the White Sox are going to move these two. I think this is inevitable. Where do you see Garrett Crochet going?
I mean, I'd love to see a team like the Royals go get another arm for the run, but I don't think they're going to be buyers. I could see a team like the Braves, who are struggling, try to go find another arm. There's rumors
with Strider going down, that would be a big piece to add in there.
Exactly. I've heard rumors that the Phillies are looking for another arm. They want to bolster that rotation and really make a push. Doug in the chat says Dodgers. Maybe.
Honestly,
maybe.
You would have to give up a haul, though. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's making like $1 million a year, and he's under control till like 2027. Did I see?
Yes, I believe so. But
honestly, right? Something like that.
Honestly, I think
don't know, man.
I think a team like the Cubs are gonna push hard because they're struggling to gain some traction. They could really use an arm.
They need bats, though.
Well, they need a little bit of everything.
I've heard the Cubs are in on Vladimir Guerrero. They've called and asked about him. So, but
that's what they need, that more than they need Crochet.
Yeah, I agree. The three teams I kind of see Crochet possibly going to is, first one is the Orioles. Now, you have that plethora of prospects just sitting there in AAA that could give you the White Sox the haul they need.
Right.
I'm thinking that one. Astros are interesting to me because you got how many? Christian Javier just went down with Tommy John. He's done. So your starters are, they're struggling there.
Yeah.
I just don't know if the Astros will be in the position to make that trade.
Well, the Astros have reportedly reached out to Trevor Bauer's camp to see if he'd come in and work out for them.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
So that's where the Astros are in terms of pitching.
Yeah. And then the Braves is the other one. Like, I'm with you on that one, Harrison.
The Braves are in trouble. That team is in real trouble.
Yeah.
Because the Phillies are just running away.
That team is clicking on all cylinders right now.
7 and 8.5? What are they up now? Let's see.
It's 9 now.
9 now.
Jeez.
Yeah, 9 now.
Crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right. How about Luis Robert then? Because that's a bat if he can stay on the field. Durability is a big issue with Luis Robert, but I still think they'll move him. I think it will take less to move him because of the durability piece. But where do you see him going?
I think Robert would be a good fit for the Cubs. I mean, I could see the Cubs trying to make I see the Cubs going after a package of Crochet and Robert trying to put them together. To me, that'd be a better trade because you're taking on the risk of Robert.
But I mean, he's another guy that's he's making more money, obviously, right? Yeah. But he signed through 2025 with the club option of 2026, club option of 2027, and then a UFA in 2028. And the club option is $20 million per. So $20 million in 2026, and then another club option for $20 million in 2027. So it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
With the risk of him being hurt all the time and really unable to stay on the field, I think a package of the two. I just don't know. You're going to have to give up so much to bring in Garrett Crochet, just so much.
Yeah.
And maybe you've mitigated a little bit because if you're adding the risk of taking on Robert and the money, it might make it a little bit easier, but
yeah, it's fair. I could see the Giants being in on him. They need some offense in a big way.
Yeah.
The Twins would be a good landing spot. They've got their struggles, and you don't know if you can trust your outfield to stay healthy.
I see him. I got 3 here. I think Phillies, just to bolster their run.
Just for the hell of it.
I mean, well, Brandon Marsh went down with a hamstring, so you have a spot there right now. I mean, he'll be back, I think, but the Braves with Acuna going down could also be a move for him. And then my sleeper is the Mariners, because they need some
try to stay ahead in that race too,
and they need
just
some
try to keep themselves ahead.
Yeah, and as the Rangers get healthier with Scherzer and DeGrom coming back, and the Mariners need as much firepower as they can muster, because offensively they are, as we said, they're offensively pretty mediocre. It's their pitching that's keeping them in games.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and what about Pete Alonso? Does he stay in New York? Does he get moved?
I think he's too hard to move.
Yeah. All 3 of the 3 guys we mentioned, none of them are real easy to move.
No, fair.
I don't think any of them are easy to move. I think Crochet is just too cheap, and he's just too young and locked up. It makes it hard.
That's fair.
Luis Robert with the money and the injury risk, and then Pete with the money. I don't know, like, how many teams out there can actually make a move to take that payroll on.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the divisions, and it's like, could the Cubs do it? Yeah, they could probably do it. Could the Giants do it? Maybe, maybe not. The Diamondbacks can't do it. The Padres can't do it.
Yeah. I think
Mariners maybe.
Yeah.
But
I think
you're slim pickings.
If Pete gets moved, I think he goes to the Cubs. If not, I think he stays in New York.
I feel like he would fit so well with the Cubs.
He would. They'd love him.
I don't know. I feel like he would fit so well in that lineup. It almost makes too much sense. But
Doug says in the chat, if Boston is in it at the deadline, I think Alonso could be an option for them. We don't have right-handed power.
So I fully agree with the sentiment of that. When was the last time you see Boston make a move like that at the deadline?
Manny Ramirez.
Right. I mean, I fully agree with it.
And that was before this ownership group.
Right. I would sign on for that in a heartbeat. I just don't know, Sox 33 and 33, right? So they're 1.5 games out of the wild card. I mean, we're sitting here on June 10th. They'll tell you this is fine for them. They're playing meaningful games right now in July, trying to get themselves into that last wild card spot. They're not. I don't see this ownership group and this front office making any type of move for a guy like Pete Alonso that costs that amount of money. I don't. I would love it, but I don't. I'm not holding my breath.
And what are you going to give up? Well, to say what makes him harder to move is he's a rental. He's a free agent. Right. So what are you going to give up for a guy who might only be there for 3 months?
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know.
It is. I mean, he's making $14.5 million this year. He's actually a pretty decent bargain, considering what you're getting. But what are you going to give up to get that guy for 3 months?
No idea.
I don't know. Those contracts are always hard to move when there's no time after.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with those 3 guys, but I think the 2 in Chicago will end up getting moved. I mean,
does Pete have a no trade clause?
No, this was his last arbitration year, I believe.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yep. So he's then free to go.
Okay.
So then they could trade him without his permission, but he's going to be hard to move given that. But I think trading Garrett Crochet is hard because that is like the White Sox signaling that we're done. Like we're giving up, we're waving the flag. Like he's our only hope. We're going to dump him. But I think the one team to look at too is the Blue Jays. That team
as buyers?
No, as sellers.
No, sellers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Are they going to finally say, okay, we're going to strip this thing to the ground? Bichette goes. I mean, they DFA'd Biggio. Does Bichette go? Does Vladdy go? Does Springer go? Like, do they just start dumping pieces and start thinking about rebuilding? Does Gosman go? Do they make him available? Like, where's that organization going? Because year after year after year, it's like, oh, this could be the year, and then they continually underperform.
Well, we've said this has been the one team we've talked about consistently since we've started the show. Is like, how many more years with this core are you going to give them before you say enough is enough?
Yep.
Yeah. I think you got to keep Bichette. You got to keep some sort of cornerstone guy there.
Yeah.
Just to put
And you think
some
it's-
butts in seats.
You think it's him over Vladdy?
I do. I think the year that we saw with Vladdy was an anomaly. Pitchers have learned how to throw to him. He's not, he's not putting up nearly the numbers he was that first year that he was here. It's just
That
it's not the
MVP
same.
year?
Yeah, I just no. I think Vlad Guerrero, as much as a top tier shortstop is enticing to teams, I think Vladdy with a occasional power is more enticing to teams that are trying to get over the hump and go down the stretch.
That's fair.
So
it's very fair.
And a lot of teams already have their shortstop cemented for the year, so they're not going to.
Well, there's that too. Yeah, that's. I agree with that.
So you're not going to trade for Bo Bichette and move your whole infield around. So I think Vladdy's an easier piece to move. But yeah, the Blue Jays do need to strip it down and start over. They're at that point where,
I think 100%.
And move to Montreal.
Yeah, you can't just keep hoping for this team to finally put it together. They haven't in entirely too long.
Yeah. So it could be queued up for a very interesting trade deadline. We will see. So Doug in the chat agrees with me. Vladdy's a bigger draw also. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and Vladdy's numbers are good. 292, 7 home runs, 30 RBIs. I mean, he's a nice piece. He's not the 48 home run guy that he was in 2021, but still a nice piece.